Life doesn't always go according to plan. Sometimes it breaks you. After a training accident left me paralysed from the neck down, I had to rebuild my body, my mind and my life. I'm Ryan Curtis, and every episode we dig into the chaos that shapes who we become. Before we get into the episode, it'd mean the absolute world to us if you could follow or subscribe on whatever platform you're currently listening to this on. For you guys, it's just a small click of the button, but for us, it's huge to grow the podcast, to get bigger guests on and have more interesting conversations for you. Thanks so much and enjoy the episode. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to this episode of Made in Chaos with me, Ryan Curtis. On today's episode, we have Darragh Morgan. Darragh is an Irish ultra-endurance athlete, best known for being the first person to ever swim around the coastline of Ireland. He's also ran from the top of Ireland to the bottom of Ireland and side to side. Darragh, what does the listeners need to know about your childhood that made you want to be an ultra-endurance athlete?
It's a great question. I suppose if people are looking into my childhood as in a sense of there was no real major event when I was younger. Now, I was a bit like yourself. I got involved in combat sports, in boxing in particular,
Nice.
when I was younger. And before that, I was a bit of a kind of a loner, a bit of a, almost you could say, a bit of a weirdo, to be honest.
Right,
you know, I did my own thing. I'd kind of play by myself. I was a bit of a loner, and then I found boxing, and I'll tell you, like, it gave me something. And
What age was that around?
That was around 10.
Nice.
I'd say it was 10. And the first time I was in a gym, it was actually because my brother boxed, and I just wanted to be like him, you know. I went in, anyway, fella hit me with a jab, nose bleeding, start crying, gone. My brother said he is never going to make it. He's real emotional. He's fucking, no way. And that was true. I gave up. I said, fuck that, I'm not doing that. But something within me came back. And when I went back, and that has been like a pattern within my life. Like, whenever I start something off, I am hopeless, terrible.
Really, yeah?
I'm that little child that runs off crying.
Right.
But something happens, I come back, and I come back stronger, and I come back better, and I just keep going. And that has been really a theme in me, a lot in my life. I don't know why.
Yeah, because like, why do you think that is? Because like, obviously what you do is like, you need to be super mentally tough. You know what I'm saying? And rigid to do what you do. So you saying that is...
Isn't it mad? Yeah. But I think it's the contrast. Like, a lot of people look at someone that does something like that and the mental toughness, but where does mental toughness actually comes from? Mental fragility. Do you know what I mean? So you need to be first at the bottom to get to the top.
Yes.
Do you know? And that was really... more, and it was only when I actually got a little bit old I started to even experience even more and more struggles and depth and that. And to be honest, I think that made me the person who I am, and the person that could pretty much withstand a lot of the trials and tribulations, the longer endurance kind of.
And I think boxing was the initial kind of thing that made you that way.
Do you know what? Boxing was the initial thing. It gave me structure. It gave me discipline. It gave me just something that I could, like, I loved that feeling when I was in the showers after, when I accomplished something. Because I had nothing in my life that I didn't feel, even at a younger age. It was weird. I just felt very bland within myself, and I just felt like I had nothing. I wasn't good at anything, but I was just good at pushing myself and pushing my mind and pushing my body. And I just felt great, even from a younger age, of just being in the shower and just being like, I gave me all there, and I was good at something. Do you know?
And that only came to you though after you. So you say, for instance, you went the first couple of times, you got punched.
Yeah.
Your nose got busted.
Yeah.
And what was the dynamic? You left for a little while.
I said, I'm never doing that. I was like, fuck that. I'm just going to play football like everyone else. But something within me was like, go back to, you cannot leave it like that. Do you know? And it's something I took with me. Like, even if you
well, like, you just felt like you just didn't want to quit. Like,
I was just like, I can't be, okay, you tried boxing, you cried and you went off and that was it. I was like, nah, that story's not going to end that way. So I just said, look, I'm going to... And then I started getting better, and there's no better thing, I feel anyway, than improvement from
Yeah.
the very bottom.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Things can only get better from that.
Yeah.
So that was my mindset with it, and that really changed me as a person. And I had a brilliant kind of journey from that, and then I kind of fell off the wagon with drink and things like that. So we could go into that.
What, just like when you start getting to your teenage years?
Yeah. When I started
Yeah.
getting my teenage years,
Like roughly what, like about 15, 16,
about
17?
16, 17, 18, really, I moved out of home, and then I started drinking a lot more. And to be honest, I didn't even, when I was boxing, I was just so regimented, man.
Yeah.
My nutrition, even from fucking 10 years to I would say like 17, I was just dialed in. I wouldn't eat anything out of whack. Like my weight, I was always on it. Do you know?
Do you think sometimes that the reason why, because I've seen that, I've seen it happen a few times, you know where I've seen it the most, obviously, it's just an observation. Thailand, you see it so much with the toys.
Yeah.
And, you know, this is just an observation that I've been made from, being over there and talking to different people. You know, the toy kids, they're like fighting since they're 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
So they're full-time athletes since such a young age.
Yeah.
But one thing that I notice is when they'll be in the gym drinking and smoking when they're like 22. And these are like high-level world champions who have now retired. But what I'm kind of saying is, do you think that you kind of fall off when you're so dialed in and you're...
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I think I kind of missed out on that section of childhood.
Yeah, kind of teenage age where we're all...
Because like when I grew up down in Waterford, and everyone be out in fields drinking, and you know.
But you were born in Dublin?
I was born in Dublin, moved to Waterford, did all my boxing in Waterford, competed in the Munster Championships, all that. So all of that would have been Waterford based. So when everyone was out drinking and stuff like that, I would have been really dialed in.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt, in a way, but I never, when I was there, I was just so laser focused. I didn't care. I was me set. And I, to be honest, that was brilliant within myself that I didn't get sucked into that. But when I moved back to Dublin then, and I just got
What
mixed.
age was that?
That was 17.
Right.
And I just got mixed in. I wanted to fit in with people. I wasn't boxing as much anymore. And I just kind of let myself go through that. And I wasn't, to be honest, I wasn't good on drink at all.
Yeah.
Do you know, like even 1, 2 drinks would just send me, it's like putting fire on, or putting petrol onto a fire. I was gone, do you know. So, it didn't mix.
Yeah, crazy though, you know, just so they were often thinking that, you know, when you're so regimented, you know.
Well, that's it. Like, you know, even in Waterford, I seen a lot, like the Thai example, a lot of travellers in the club. Right. They'd be so regimented, and then when they get to a certain age, about the 17, 18, they just fall off.
They just fall off.
And it just can be
So I think that's the age, like, where you just feel like you're missing out on something.
That's it.
You know, you're looking at all your friends and all your friends is partying and... You know yourself, like that's the age where girls start becoming important and
exactly,
maybe it's like when everybody else around you is doing something, you're like, oh, and you know, let's be honest, from the outside looking in as well, it's a lot of the stuff is fun. They're not good to be doing for the rest of your life, but they're fun things there when you're young, 100%, you know.
100%, yeah. Like there's sacrifice to everything, like, you know. But in the long run, and I've realised that sacrifice and that discipline is actually the freedom for me, you know. Yeah. And that's why being indisciplined from within me, which just didn't work. Yeah. It wasn't me.
Yeah, well, like I put up a video the other day, you know, and I was saying, you know, I always say, because I've said a few times at different talks and stuff, discipline is real freedom. Yeah. You know, and what I mean by that is you're not a slave to your emotions. Yeah. You know, because when you're lying there and you know you need to go on a run or you know you're supposed to get some work done, whether that be in work or for your business or whatever, you know, if you have the ability to not care about how you're feeling but just get it done, you're free of
everything.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's all aspects of your life. If you're disciplined, you're free. You know, you're disciplined with your time. You're disciplined with your money. You have more money. You know. It goes to all aspects. You're disciplined
with your health. You're never going to be sick.
Exactly.
You know,
that's the freedom there.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, definitely. One thing that I wanted to read here: you're the first person to ever swim around the whole of island of Ireland you swam roughly about 1,500 kilometres over 5 months and spent close to 350 hours in the water. What made you do something like that? That's like when you
Yeah.
read that out, it's
It's mind-boggling. And
phenomenal too.
yeah, and to be honest, like if I was to rewind back, like boxing was everything to me. Then I got a bad injury. I broke my leg, and what swimming and the water done was, like, number one, I didn't really realise how important sport and exercise was, not for just my body, but for my mind. You know, it just made me just clearer, a better person. Just it gave my day structure. Everything else kind of flowing like the waterfall after that, you know. And when I didn't have that, I really struggled mentally and physically, really. And then as my recovery kind of process, I would have done a lot of work in swimming pool and in the sea. And what that done, the water almost acted, suspended, like kind of took the weight and the heaviness that I was feeling.
Okay.
And just suspended me in it. And I've never experienced it in training or exercise before. And it took that, like, mental and physical weight. And I just fell in love with it. Now, I would have swam before that, but out in the open water, I was doing, in the pool, I was doing, I'd say, 2 or 3 hour sessions. Then out in the open water, I was doing more and more. And at the time, I was working a job that I just really didn't like. And I looked up and I seen a map of Ireland. And I said to myself, I had no qualifications at the time. Like, if anyone was to look at me, you'd say you wouldn't even run a bath, let alone swim around Ireland. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I said, I'm going to swim around Ireland. And I said, right, I'm going to get to work to do this. And I was like, how do I do that? And then that just became the journey of really getting there. And that was, I think that was 7 years ago. Yeah.
So what, you were just sitting there one day, looked at a map of Ireland and thought, like, I want to swim around the whole of Ireland?
I was sitting there, I was looking at it, it was some meeting and I was bored off my head. I don't know what, it was a sales meeting or something. And I was like, what am I even doing here, do you know? And I just looked at that and I was just like, imagine, because I was doing a lot of swimming, and like, swimming is great for the mental side of things. You do a lot of thinking because your heart rate is at a very low level. And I can touch on that, like, when I was actually swimming, it's mad the kind of mental kind of gymnastics you go through. It's mad. But I would have done a lot of thinking, and I said, okay, this is something that kind of will combine everything. My love of adventure, my love of swimming. And then
because you ran from the top of Ireland to the bottom of Ireland as well, and side to side.
Yeah.
And was that after you done the swimming thing?
No, that was before.
Before, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, you mean the swim around Ireland or just the swimming in general?
No, the swimming around Ireland.
Oh yeah, that was before. So
Right.
So that was like them journeys, although they're not directly correlated with a swim, they, in a way, they built the character that was able to do the swim, if you get me. Because, you know, I had to, like, my always big thing was I had to master myself, which is like independence.
Yes.
So how do you do that? I was on my own on these big, long distance adventures and trying to find myself and trying to test myself, like mind, body, spirit. It involved all them journeys, like, you know, really made it, you know.
No, because, you know, one thing, I was talking to one of the guys earlier and I was telling him I was having you on, and I was saying, to run down, I'm not, because obviously, like, running is crazy tough too. But swimming, I can just bring it back to me. Maybe swimming's easier for other people. Anytime I swam, it took way more out of me than running.
Yeah.
And I was saying, like, for example, imagine running up and down the length of a swimming pool 5 times versus swimming.
Yeah.
Swimming takes a lot more out of you.
It does.
So, you know, even running, Ireland is crazy, but swimming, when I heard the story, I was just like, whoa.
Yeah. And I think everyone has that, like, not even just from the swimming aspect, like you said there, swimming like 5-10 lengths, like, you know.
Yeah.
And then you add on top of that the logistical complications of doing that. You need a boat on top of you, need all this sponsorship. It was just like, whenever I even said it to people, they were just like, man, just just take a break.
Yeah, but yeah.
just find a different dream or do something else. And I tried to, man.
Yeah,
I'll be
because
honest with you. For so long, I was like, man, I need to find something else. But there was...
Really? Yeah, you were kind of thinking that
like,
because one of the questions that I always wanted to ask you was, what did your friends and family think?
every single one of them, down to it, said, don't do it there.
Really, yeah.
You can't do it. My family, everyone was like pleading with me, do not do it, because they're like, you're going to just run yourself into a dead end. And I just said to myself, I couldn't live with myself not attempting it, not trying it. And I knew deep down within my heart and with my soul, there was something speaking to me. There was a higher power telling me that I can do this, and you need to do this for whatever reason it was. And it was
it's funny, isn't it, how everybody try and talk you out of it, but you are like, no, this is something that I need to do.
Yeah.
And what do you mean by, like, you know, was it just thoughts coming into your head and a feeling just going
it was thoughts coming into my head. It was a feeling. It was like I said it a few times, and it just felt I would have done a lot of visualization with my other journeys. I couldn't even visualize this because it was so challenging. Do you know, even when I tried to visualize it, I was like, oh God, I don't even want it. Like, it's that hard, but it just kept coming back. It kept coming back, and I was like, right, am I going to live with this thing that's just going to keep coming into my mind and keep coming back? You should have swam around, or you should have done this. Or am I going to give it my all, my very best shot, everything I have in this short, beautiful life that we have? I'm just going to go for my dream. If it doesn't happen, I would, like, obviously I'd be devastated because this is my dream, but I would have put everything into it. Yeah. And that was my mindset to it.
It's just a no regrets, isn't it?
No regrets. Yeah. No regrets.
At least you can live with yourself then.
Like, I said to myself, the biggest challenge was jumping in the first day on May the 1st.
Right.
If I could get to that moment, I would have succeeded in the whole swim, because that's all the logistical and the other stuff. If I get to that one moment, then I've succeeded. And everything else then after that is a bonus, because I started. And a lot of people never get to the position of actually just starting, throwing the first punch, doing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's...
And I think your mind talks you out of a lot of things, doesn't it?
Your mind, but also the people closest to you.
Yeah, true.
Do you know what I mean? True. Your mind does talk you out of it, but that's the place where it's born. Yes. And then a lot of people will say, come on.
I know, because the thing about it is, if you're already having doubts about doing something like that, because let's be honest, right, we're all human. 100%. You would be having doubts about something like it. When I started fighting, like, I was like, gosh, is this really what you should be doing? And then you have people on top of that confirming your doubts. Yeah. Do you know? Yeah. Because I know, like, all my family was like, I remember my mum was just like, what are you doing? Will you just stop fighting and just get a job like everybody else? Like, I remember that, you know, and obviously fighting is such a tough life. And then you have somebody going, you're already kind of, is this the right thing? And then you have somebody, like, obviously I really respect my man's opinion, and then she's like, no, you need to stop this. So, you know, you... And then all them, everybody going, here, no, you need to not do this.
And they're doing it out of love, and you love them too. Yeah, of course. Like that, it's reaffirming something in your mind. Like, when you attempt something big like that and you go against the grain, like, life's not going to give you an easy path. Yeah. You know, it's going to be a lot harder than any other
How
path.
do you break through the barrier or something like that with people, you know, with the self-doubt, and then people on top of that confirming?
I think it's being, to be honest, a little bit stubborn, but faithful in, like, is it really what you want to do? Like, I sat with it for a while. I would have meditated in it, and I said, is this something I really want to do? And whenever I did that, it was yes. It was always a re-astounding yes. And it came from within. Didn't come from any other source. It just came from a deep love of what I wanted to do and that journey and everything. And that's coming from a place of purity. So that, at the toughest of times, that is what got me through. And that it's actually what made me as well. Like, because if it didn't have that North Star, I don't know where it would have been, you know. So
cause it's one of the questions where I was thinking was like, what goes on in your head after spending 4 hours in the water?
It's such a weird place. The only thing I can bring it back, it's almost like, because your heart rate is very low, you have all these logical thoughts.
Right,
So
okay.
like you know when you're out for a run, sometimes you can just switch off because
Yes.
your heart rate is quite high, or even when you're fighting, you're so in tune
Dialed in and
dialed in, and
yeah.
you want to get your combinations off, or you want to get whatever.
Yeah. You
But
nearly don't have time to think
you
in a
don't have
sense.
time to think, and you
Yeah.
try and think about what you're thinking back to.
Yeah.
You don't
yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
In the swimming, it was just there was a logic. So your mind be saying,
Really,
okay,
even when you're actually swimming though, you're kind of thinking in
oh,
your
you're
mind?
thinking
Yeah.
like I would have thought a lot. What are you doing here? This is and you know that kind of thing in your mind where it's kind of it's telling you to give up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, it's telling you
100%.
you're done.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
and it's the part of the mind that you know it's kind of like the devil on your shoulder. You're fucking get out of here now.
Yeah.
But then you kind of overcome that, and then you're at that 60% of the swim, and then you're in this nice flow. Like what I like to do is I like to like mental anchors. So like my technique, my stroke, I'd always like to appreciate like the nature, like looking around Ireland, then down at the sea. Sometimes like we were swimming with different animals and dolphins and all these amazing things. Now at the start they'd freak me out a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
But that they were things that like took me out of.
So I think I have that phobia. I don't know. There's a real long name to it, but I remember seeing a picture on Facebook, and it's like you have this fear of you not knowing what's underneath
what's
you.
underneath it. Yeah,
Yeah, like you know, because I remember seeing that picture on Facebook, and it was just somebody in an open sea or a lake it was, and it was just pitch black underneath.
Yeah,
and that
you just don't know.
Yeah, that would kind of, I don't know. I have that, but that image would stop me from doing
Doing that.
getting into the water and doing that. Now I've swam in the sea loads of times,
Yeah.
but I mean for long periods.
Yeah. And you know that it was a big thing for me. I would have done a lot of night swimming on the journey. It's man, I'm telling you, one of the first night swims, pitch black. And I'm swimming into jellyfish. And then halfway through that swim, there's dolphins coming up beside me. All I can see is the white of their underbelly flashing past me, and I'm like, what? And there's so much fear within you, but I don't know. It was kind of actually like back and forth. You know, you be a little bit fearful when you're going into the ring, or you're but you use it as energy, as something. So I used to use it to just really make me aware and turn me on, and then I'd always bring it back to like a faith in something higher. Like it wasn't me that was in control of everything. I handed off.
Just letting it go.
That faith in something else. I used to just always, when I got into the boat, I'd bless myself, jump in the water, and that just brought me a level of peace that I can't even comprehend. And I do believe that is how I got through some of the
because I know there
moments.
is scientific studies there that athletes who kind of believe in a higher power tend to do a lot better because they're not in their own head about things. They're kind of like they've already let go of the pressures of what if this happens, what if that happens, because they're kind of the opinion, well, you know, whatever is meant to be, and it's all in God's hands anyway.
That's it.
So they don't kind of beat themselves up thinking about results or anything. They just go in and just do their thing.
Yeah, it's just that trust.
Yeah.
You know, I just trusted in my intuition and my dream, and in God at the end of it, you know, and that's really what kind of.
And what would an average day looking like?
So we get up in the morning. We had
any rough time?
We'd have to time it with the tides.
Right.
So a tide runs for 6 hours.
Okay.
So we'd have to catch that specific tide within that 6 hours. So for
and
example,
you would just go onto the internet to find that information out?
So basically the tides go in accordance with the moon and the sun. They kind of working. It's actually amazing when you look into it. It's you know, you spring tides and you have neap tides. So there's a tide book, and you can time the tides pretty much to the T.
Okay.
But you can look it up online as well, which we would have done. But every day they move an hour ahead. Like, so say for example, if the high tide was 7 o'clock this morning, tomorrow will be 8 o'clock.
Okay.
Do you know?
Yes.
So our swim start would just go an hour ahead.
Yes.
Every day. So to just give you an average day, we'd wake up, we'd be at we'd be docked at a pier or something like that.
Okay.
We get our main support boat or the secondary support boat. There's two. There was one huge one, which was a Galway hooker, which is a traditional boat in Galway. And it was about 42 foot. I slept, cooked, ate there with 3 other people. So that was an experience in itself. And then the other boat was a small fishing boat that we would have jumped off and done our swims on. So if we were taking the big boat out, which would have been usually for bigger swims, say we went off that, I would have set a GPS coordinate for the previous day, jumped in at that segment, swam for about 6 hours with the tide, about 20k. Every hour then the crew would stop me, feed me, water me.
What kind of foods would you be eating? Any specific
Bananas, sandwiches,
Okay.
and anything really. Like it was gas. Like when people heard like and seeing what I was eating, they were just like, what? Like they were looking for gels and and all the real scientific things.
Yeah.
But like honestly, man, when I say we hadn't a pot to piss in, we had not a pot to piss in. We were pissing over the deck. That's what. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So we had nothing. Like I had no corporate sponsorship. If you were to say I did this on the leanest thing possible, I did this on the leanest possible.
So it wasn't
way.
like there was a bleeding chef.
No, there was nothing.
Yeah.
Do you know?
So what would it like? Say, give an example of an average meal.
Average meal, like, so every hour, a lot of times it was ham and cheese sandwiches.
Right.
It was water, or then it was bananas became a big staple. They were great on the stomach, real good energy source. Then peanut butter, a lot of bang for your buck, calorie dense, because swimming uses up so much calories, and you're actually cold at the same time. So your body's going it's burn. It's just a calorie burning machine. So you just need to replace it with anything and everything. Now I always advocate for whole foods, really good nutrition. And I would have done that forever, and I wanted to do that more on swim, but just out of necessity.
Yeah, of course.
I was just like, I am eating whatever, whenever, the quickest possible, because I couldn't be cooking up meals. It was only.
Did you ever feel like kind of like the stuff was heavy on your stomach to swim? On?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Oh, sure. I remember one day. It was one of the first hot meals. One of the lads was cooking up in the boat.
Right.
Like we had a little cooker. And he made me, like a full Irish breakfast,
Right,
and put it into a white, a full fry, and put it in. I was swimming, and I could smell something. I was like, boys, what's going on in there? And they were like, yeah, we're cooking up a fry. I said, oh, I just couldn't wait. I was like, when's the next day? Where I was looking at my watch every hour. And then they put it into a big bap, loads of butter in it, and I ate it, and it was the best thing ever. But then the next hour trying to swim with that, I was just heavy.
Because you know yourself, when you eat something heavy, all your body wants to do is rest, isn't it?
Just rest.
Like the last thing you want to be doing is exercising after eating.
Like if you were to say, like, and I knew all the good stuff, like the nutrition, like all of that, I threw it out the window for this swim, to be honest. Like I just was like, all right, I'm eating anything whenever.
I know, but I suppose doing something like that is probably a bit better than not eating, because
100%.
what were you going to do, you know?
If I was too regimented, like I had the mental frame always perform at your best, at your worst. And that's what I had to do for the whole swim. I didn't have my ideal sleep schedule before I didn't have all my nutrition dialed in. I didn't have like all the best gear. I didn't have all the resources. So I said to myself, I have to perform at my best, at my worst, and
that's so impressive in itself.
Yeah,
do you know?
Yeah,
because doing anything like that is obviously incredible, but to do it when you're at your worst, in a sense.
Yeah,
is
from all levels.
Yeah,
and to be honest, if I was looking back on it, that's what I'm most proud of. That I was able to do something pretty unimaginable. Now it did put a massive more of a strain on me that probably needed to be. But I'm very proud of myself for doing it and coming through it in that manner. Yeah.
So say for example, it was 6 hours in the water a day.
Yeah, so on average, I think our average swim time is about 4.5 to 5 hours. Right. But majority of swims would have been 5 to 6. Yeah.
Right. So you said you were kind of getting a little break every hour.
Every hour.
So when you were getting out of water and into the boat, how long were you having break and then getting back in?
Oh, I was in the water all the time.
Oh, so you
Yeah.
actually weren't getting out
Yeah, I
of
was
you
never
were
getting
eating in the water?
Yeah, I was eating.
No
in the
way.
Yeah. So basically, we stopped, and there's rules around it. You can't even touch the boat. So the lads in the boat had to throw me out, like my food, like so bananas, whatever, a sandwich in. I was eating in the water.
So how did you get that fry?
He just handed it to me.
No.
Yeah, off the boat. He
So
just
you're
handed
eating a
it.
big hot fry in
I'm
the
just
water?
eating a big roll, like with fry,
Right,
like
okay.
full lathered in it, and then I'm delighted. And then a wave hits it, boom, big soggy roll then. And honestly, you're that hungry, you don't even
You don't
care.
even
You're
care,
just like,
yeah.
you're wolfing it down. So
Yeah.
I was, So every hour I would stop. They'd feed me in the water, throw a bottle of water out to me. And then, as you can imagine, the coast of Ireland, like some of the days, it was very hard to do that.
Yes.
Do you know? But them little hour breaks did.
And then what would you, was that kind of a time limit on the breaks?
We
Or
we,
was
we,
just
we
whatever?
try. I would always try to make it as quick as possible. Now I have a great knack of eating very fast, so
Right,
I could
okay.
just put it away and then gone. I always thought to myself, you know, the time in the water is sacred, so don't waste it.
Yes.
Do you know?
Yeah.
So whenever I had that kind of time, I would say max 1 to 2 minutes of a break to chow stuff down, have a chat with the lads. They'd kind of suss out how I was, and then keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Do you ever remember like the worst day?
The
Was there
worst
any
day.
was there any worst day that stuck out for you?
Oh, there was a few.
I'm sure there was I'm sure there was more than one, but like when you were
Yeah.
like when you're at a real low point is what I'm saying.
Well, there's two. There was 2 swims, and it was kind of a culmination, and they came at towards actually the end of the swim.
Okay.
So number one was actually at Mizzen Head, which is right down the bottom. The most.
Is that's the lowest point of
That's the
Ireland?
lowest point of Ireland. And we were swimming around there, and it was, I don't know what it was, but it was the accumulation of everything. And I was swimming away, and I would have pushed through so much on the journey, and I was trying to push through, and I just couldn't. My mind was just like, and honestly, like the pain that I was in, for whatever reason it was, the cold got into me. For one of the, like the, now you're always cold because you're in the water.
Yeah, of course.
But
Yeah.
there's a certain level of cold that bring
Nearly
this
like
like pain.
hypothermia.
Yeah, and I was like in pain, and I was trying to push through it, and whatever it was, even the color of the water was like this, like it was like this dark blue kind of, this darkness was in it. And I was swimming away, and I was just in so much pain. Nearly fucking tears were like coming into my goggles. I thought my goggles were leaking. It was just like tears of pain, and I was like, what is going on? I stopped a few times, and I was like, I'm going to keep going. And it was the first time in the whole journey that I was like, I have to call this. I have to call this swim, because I thought I was getting hypothermic or it was something. So I said to my boat captain, Darragh, I was like, I'm calling it. And man, you know yourself, it's like in a fight when you throw in the towel yourself, you give out. It's give up. It's like the worst feeling in the world. And I was just like, I was like, that's not me. I don't set
Devastated,
precedents
yeah.
like that. I was just devastated that I could even imagine or consider throwing in the towel. But you know what was actually great about it? It tested me. How are you going to get back in the next time?
Yes.
And how are you going to react to that? Because yeah, you gave up. That wasn't good. But how are you going to get in the next day? And I put a huge precedent on the next time I'm getting in the water, and I set then the standards, a great run of things after that. Really what it was I was on a massive run of things. I think we did like 10 or 20 swims in a row, and my body just gave up on that last swim. Now, I feel, and I still feel to this day, that I pulled it. You know, that's just my mindset with it, and it stuck with me. And the other swim then, so that's the first swim, and then another swim I had to pull, and it was like the same thing. I felt cold. It was after a real long spell of really good swims. And then I said to myself, right, this is what the amazing thing about this swim was, that you could always dust yourself off, and you could be like, you know, you're never, you can kind of silently quit, but it's when you actually pull the full plug. And I always knew there was the next day and how to react.
Yes.
And I was like, next time I'm coming back, I'm putting in a serious performance here. And that's that's how you succeed in something as big as this. You trunk it down, and there's not going to be days that you're going to get everything going your way. And them two just stood out for me, you know.
Yeah, because one of the things, it's like, that's what I wanted to ask you, because I'm sure you got that a lot, but how did you, like, kind of silence that little voice in your mind that just kept on telling you to get out of the water and get back onto the boat? Because I'm sure there was a lot of that.
Well, do you know what? It was them 2 times, right? There was 2 times.
You didn't really have much other than them 2 times?
Oh, I had almost every day, almost at every swim, man. So it's like them 2 times was the actual time that I did do it, right? And they're still, and I think they forever will be etched in my memory, right? So imagine if I did it loads of time, dotted around. It doesn't go with me, and it was like the pain. Like there's a quote. It's like pain lasts for a minute or an hour or a year, but if I give up, that pain lasts forever. Yeah, and I that was my mantra, my cue. If I give up on this now, although it's so tough, and there's nothing more I want to just end it. But if I give up now, the kind of short term, whatever it's going to give me, longer term, I'm going to kill. It's just going to kill me, man.
Yeah, the regret will haunt you forever.
Haunt you more than
heavier.
Any pain.
That's heavier than any pain.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the regret.
It's the regret. You know? And you're like, you could be going through any
and just the kind of thing, like, where you just have to admit to yourself, because you can lie to everybody else, but you have to admit to yourself that you quit.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality,
100%.
you know. Like, it's like, it wasn't on anybody else.
Yeah.
You were in the water or the fight or the race or whatever.
Yeah.
And you quit. You know.
And the test of character is to admit that and come back a better person. Like,
but what I'm saying is, when I'm talking about quitting, I think you're only, what I deem quitting is when you give up.
Yeah.
Not if you fail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then that I want to get that point to you, because you didn't really quit in the water. You were just like, so my body's giving up here. I need to have a little rest. But you never quit.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah, that's it. I could have went, like, that's the difference. I could have went out of that first swim and say, I'm done.
Yes.
That's it. And a lot of people would have.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
Yeah.
The difference is,
because you're only a quitter when you give up.
You're only a quitter when you're never bet until you give up.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, you can go away and you can let it sting, let it hurt, let it feel like, you know, like that. Let pain or let failure sting. Because it stings like anything. But completely giving up and quitting.
Yeah, that's the worst.
That's the worst, and that's where you never want to get to. Do you know, like, let it sit with it, let it hurt, but then come back that better, and that's the kind of real power story. How do you react to a loss? Yeah, do you know, that's the real winning, is when you come back from, like, a big loss in your life, whatever that is.
Well, there's no glory in, you know, there's no glory in the man who never fell, because you don't know what he's made of when he does fall.
No.
So, and you can only think about it, you only know what someone's made of when they've been through bad times. Because it's all well and good to go, oh yeah, sure, if I was through bad times, everything be sweet. Yeah, but you've never been through bad times, so how can you tell yourself that?
How can you tell yourself?
Because it's great saying, oh yeah, sure, I'd handle this situation like that and everything's great. Yeah, but you've never been in that situation.
Exactly.
And you don't know that about yourself. No. You can say it about yourself, but until you've been there and been tested and been in the face of adversity, you can't ever really say it.
Yeah. And, you know, like, it goes back to that, like, the people I admire the most, a lot of the times people look at success as you've been or sometimes the kind of hero's journey, so to speak. Yeah. You rock bottom, up at the top, everything's grand. Right. The people I admire is rock bottom, up at the top, rock bottom, up at the top, rock bottom. That's life. And people who can go up and down the mountains and down to the depths again when they've been there before, man. Yeah. Because you've reached heights, you've been at a low, you've reached a height, then you're down. Yeah. You're down in the depths. How do you get back up at that? Because that's almost harder than the first journey. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you have to do that. That's life. You have to
Yeah,
do that
I just
again and
think it's
again.
acceptance, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, because for me, I'm well aware, like, you know, even in my situation, that was a really catastrophic thing that happened in my life with my accident. But I'm
Yeah.
well aware that that's probably not the last time
Yeah.
that there's going to be a bad thing that happened in my life.
That's it.
And I've already accepted life is just peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the reality of life.
Yeah.
I think it's easier when you accept something like that. But again, me sitting here and saying that, it's easy to say, but what
Yeah.
kind of a person are you when you face
that.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to know, like, and man, your example, like, you have fucking, I have so much respect for you.
No, I
Do you know what
appreciate that, bro, yeah.
Even doing the after everything, like, that to me, that's the admirable, that's the true character, like, you know, you show yourself in them moments. you
Yeah.
know? So,
Yeah, I think you show how you really are on the down times in your life.
Yeah,
Do you know,
you do.
because let's be honest, when you're comfortable and everything's going great, then what do you really need to show?
nothing.
Do you know, you don't really need to show, and it's the down times where you're like, you know, and they're the people who I trust. I probably, I'm gonna be honest, like, I don't really ever trust somebody who's never been at down points in their life, because again, how much you know about somebody?
Yeah.
Like, what can you really? Don't even worry about what you know about that person. What does that person know about themselves when they've never been in any struggles or any down times?
Well, look, you like we were giving the example at the very start when people have, you know yourself from even combat side of things, and so I knew people that were athletically so gifted and had everything from it, and then they face that bit of adversity, and a lot of
Yeah,
times
they just
they're
quit,
gone.
yeah.
That's the first sign of adversity.
Yeah.
They have everything going for them. Like the people that do very well, that I find that last more than others, are the ones that are going through them peaks and valleys all the time. That are going up, they're going down, they're going up, they're going down. So when it comes down, it's like, I've been here before.
Yeah.
I understand what the process is of this. This is a pattern, like the seasons of life, whatever. But when you're just, riding the wave all the time and something happens,
Yeah.
that's when
As you know what I think it is, usually the people who with the ups and downs, like you're saying, they've had to work really hard to get into that position, where the talented people, they've just been really good from the get-go.
Yeah.
So as soon as something bad happens, then it's like, what the hell?
what do I do here? Yeah, that's it. And I'd be always saying, I'm not talented at all.
Yeah, I would say that about myself.
I
as
just
well.
had to work so much hard to even get to the start line of
Yeah,
other
yeah.
people. Do you know, I had to work 10 times harder. And a lot of the times I always kind of a little bit resented that. But now it's a superpower. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think that's nothing
No.
to be resentful
No,
towards,
no.
because, because I think if stuff comes easy to you, then you just don't take any joy in achieving it. You know what I mean? Because it came easy.
Yeah.
Now, where if you've had to struggle, and then you do win or you do have some success, you're like, I busted me bollocks to get here.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know?
They say like it's like setting up your own business and struggling and making the money from it, whereas winning the lotto.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like that example, and it's like, which one would you prefer? Now,
Yeah.
some people would take your hand
the
off.
lotto, yeah.
That's fair enough, but for me, anyway, I always find that the hard work and the struggle and all that.
Yeah.
Just
Well, but for me, because I say this a lot, it's not really even about achieving what you're setting out to achieve. It's the person you become on the journey to
Yeah.
achieving that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's where all the great stuff is. You know, like if you just had somebody hand you your perfect business or your perfect life, you wouldn't gain the resilience or the respect for things, the discipline. It's all on the journey that you pick up that.
Yeah.
Them kind of the good stuff is what I'm saying. You know.
That's really like it. Like, and this is a question for you actually. Like, is that a different? That's like fulfillment versus achievement.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times I was always like achievement. I want to achieve this. I want to achieve that. But then it was also like when you're not actually fulfilled doing every single achievement is going to leave you at the mount and you're going to come back down.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're actually fulfilled, you're obviously going to get a drop off, but there's steps.
Yeah, because I think achievement is just like moving on from one thing to another.
Yeah.
So you're constantly chasing the next thing, the next rush, the next high, the next, where what I always say is the best thing you can ever have in your life is enough.
Yeah.
Do you know? The person who has enough has everything because they're not looking for that. They're grateful for what they have. Do you know? So, you can just sit and go, oh, do you know what? Everything that I have is great.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that I'm going to get complacent and I'm going to get stagnant. I'm still going to work towards being a better person. And that's why I even always say about myself, my number one goal in life is something that I'll never be able to achieve. And that's to be a better person than I was yesterday. That's my number one goal. And the reason why I picked that as my number one goal is because, going back to what I just said, I know I'll never be able to achieve that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, because it's a continuous...
It's continuous improvement.
Yeah.
All the time.
Do you know? So it's like, that is my number one goal, to just be a better person than I was yesterday.
And as a product of that, you're achieving along the way, but
Exactly.
you're doing it in a way more fulfilled manner. Yeah.
But you're not waiting until you get to this certain point.
Yeah.
Do you know the study done on the Olympians who get gold medals?
Post-Olympic depression.
Yeah. Because then it's like they get the gold medal and they're like, all right, I'm at the, my whole life was about getting this gold medal. Now I've got it. Now what? What's my life now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know?
And did you ever get that, like, after fights or after, like...
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did. I definitely did get that after fights where... Because you just put so much into it and then you think you win a fight and then you think your life is just going to change or how you're feeling's just going to change. But it's great for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then after, it's just like, oh, yeah, well, I just won the fight,
Yeah.
A quick word from our sponsors, The Ink Factory. If you're looking for the best tattoo studio in Ireland, The Ink Factory in Temple Bar is one of the highest rated tattoo studios in the country, with over 5,000 5-star Google reviews. They're home to 30 expert artists, including award-winning talent covering every style from fine line to full custom pieces. They also offer professional piercings from just €25, including jewellery. So whether it's your first tattoo or your next one, you're in safe hands. Visit www.theinkfactory.ie or follow them on Instagram and TikTok at The Ink Factory.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of had to change my mind on it and just be like, I've kind of figured out when I started maturing, I was like, oh no, I'm just living the dream. I used to say that to people. I'm living the dream now. Obviously, I was fighting on big shows, I'm fighting in big stadiums around the world, and that was great. But the fact that I got to train 3 times a day, every single day, and spend time around the people who I loved most, like my teammates in the gym, and have a laugh. And I just remember thinking, like, I'm living the dream. Because I understand, I do really understand that the beauty of everything is the journey. It's not the destination. Like they always say, like, what's the worst part of a PlayStation game? The end, because it's over. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's and there's so many similarities for myself. Like, like the whole journey itself was actually the most enjoyable thing. And people say, "What was the finish like?"
Yeah,
it was okay.
Yeah.
The whole thing was actually
probably probably I don't know. Maybe like do you think it would have been a little bit underwhelming? Like, it
was a bit anticlimactic because it was only, say for example, it was a 2K swim to finish the whole thing, and now it was great to see everyone and come back into the docks and have this kind of media coverage and all that. But in total, like, the most enjoyable moments were coming up on the journey. And even if I would think back to, like, even the training to it and the discipline and the direction that I had to that destination, that was probably what gave me the most joy and the most fulfillment and everything. And then when you actually get there, your mind's a mad thing. Like, you think that's everything, and then when you get it, you're like, all right, what's this?
It is funny how your mind tricks you like that, isn't it? Like, you think like, oh no. And that's what I do even say to people. It's like, happiness isn't a destination, you don't just think like, oh, when I get this amount of money, I'm gonna be happy. When I get this car, I'm gonna be happy. You know, you need to be happy within yourself to be even happy when you get them kind of things. I think that's why, like, so many people kind of, because I remember, I don't know if it was Jim Carrey or somebody was like, I wish that I could just give every single person in the world $1 million so they could realise, or it's not the key to everything. Now, look, I'm sitting here on camera saying that. I'm sure there's people who can't even afford to knock on the lights or eat. Yeah, that's a different kind of scenario. I'm talking about people who kind of have their head above water and they're able to pay their bills and they're just living a normal, average life, you know. So yeah, I'm not getting, don't get it twisted when I say that. I know money can do a lot for people. I'm just talking about the average person who's living a normal life and just.
But that's, you know, yourself, like, say that routine you have, like, you know, when you're getting up and you're training with and you get to train 3 times a day, and you, like, even for myself, like, if I get to get up in the morning, sunrise swim, you know, meet up with people for and like have the perfect day. In them moments, man, you're a millionaire. Like, do you know what I mean? You have everything. You have absolutely everything. Do you know what I mean? And that's and that's just appreciating and gratitude of what you have.
Yeah,
do you know?
It's just appreciating the small things.
The small things.
You know, even I can, you know, I obviously just talk about my own situation, and it's like, even with my own situation, I never thought I'd miss walking so much till I couldn't do it. You know, even just getting out of the bed to get a bit of sunlight on my face. And I don't think you really, truly ever appreciate the small things until they're taken away from you.
They're taken straight from you.
Yeah, but I think, like, because the small things, people are just like, oh yeah, but sure, this would never be taken away from me, because they just do so much, like getting up and spending time with your family, having a cup of coffee with your friends. They're just small things to people. But if you find the beauty in small things, because I listened to Jordan Peterson a bit, and he was like, he always talks about finding the beauty in the small things, like, you know, how your wife greets you when you come home from work, how your kids run to you when you come home from work. Because if you actually think about it, because I was listening to what he was saying, that's so much of your day, every single day. Drinking, having pina coladas on the beach and all, it's great, but like, if you actually weigh the amount of time that you're on a beach drinking pina coladas, it's a very small part of your life. Where, like, if you can find the beauty in giving your kids a hug and having nice food with your friends, and they're just small things, you know, I think that's the beauty of things. If you can find the wins in the small things.
That's that awareness piece, you know, just being aware of the small, beautiful, interesting things. And I think a lot of times, like that, even for myself, like the drinking and like a lot of kind of things that I would be easily addicted to, like a lot of people.
Yeah, of course.
That drowns out then that awareness of all them beautiful things. You know, you're not looking at your wife, you're not looking at your kid, you're looking at social media, or you're drinking, it drums out the awareness within ourselves. So it's a hard balance,
Yeah, it's definitely, I agree with what you're saying, you know, the drink and the everything like that. It's not good, you know, because you're just kind of, you know, even when you're getting, that's why I probably drink maybe twice a year, I would say. Because I just find, like, for me, when I drink, it just sets me back so many days.
Yeah.
Do you know? Like, say, for instance, if I had a drink on Saturday night, I don't feel myself till maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. It's not to say that I'm hungover, it just throws me off me cleaning, me productivity, you know, there's just so many. But like I said, the twice a year that I do it,
it's great crack.
It's brilliant. Because when I really try to do it is when I'm around good company and you know,
spend time.
And good where energy, I'm like,
I've
no problem when I say to myself, or I'm going to have a drink because I know I'll remember this time, because we're all here, I don't really see these people a lot. You know, this is going to be a good time. So I don't mind doing it when it's like that, but to do it every weekend just wouldn't be for me, you know.
Yeah.
Was there anything when you were in the water that you were ever afraid of, like we touched on it earlier on? Like?
Yeah, well, there was these jellyfish that kind of actually frequent the North Channel and then the Dublin Bay actually as well.
What kind of jellyfish?
They're called lion's manes.
Right, okay.
Man, they are the ugliest, most disgusting things. They're big, huge yolks. They're like hair. Right. And they spread out in the water, and you can't even feel them as you go. But like, they touch you, but you can't even feel them. It's like a delayed reaction. and it's like the only thing I could describe. It's like just getting stung with an electric whip,
Right.
and then it gets worse as you get out of the water because like sleep and recovery are my two like core tenets of sleep and nutrition are my two core tenets of recovery. So you can't sleep. It's very hard to eat because you're nauseous after the sting. Your body is like trying to get the toxins out. So
Tell us this. Is the piss thing real now?
No, the piss thing is, yeah. I was asked that as well. No, that's not real. Like, basically, what you should do is you should stay in the water.
You just slide on the boat, all the boys pissing on it.
It probably would have, I don't know, would have done something.
All riddled with jellyfish things.
Go ahead, lads, fuck it.
That's a myth, yeah.
The piss thing is an absolute myth, but I would just, I used to just stay in the water because I had to swim a certain distance. And like I was like, fuck it. And actually what worked was to just stay in the water after a while. But then when you get out of the water, it gets so much worse. It's like, it's very hard. And then down the south coast, there was another variant of jellyfish, smaller, stayed on the top of the water. They stung you big time during the night swims. They were horrific. But what was worse was actually the anticipation.
Right, so just in your head.
The mind. And that goes back to the power of the mind again. Because your mind is constantly on alert.
Yeah.
Is it because it's like, when you're a child, you put your hand on the hot plate, you get burnt.
Don't do that again, yeah.
Don't do that again. You swim into a swarm of jellyfish on the thing. Then I'm swimming away, and as you can imagine, my TV screen or my whatever, my vista is literally just looking down at this big, deep expanse, seeing all these fucking disgusting jellyfish just flying past me.
We don't have box jellyfish now.
No, we've
like
you're done with them. Like so, thankfully we have no jellyfish that's only kill you.
Right, okay.
But that's like it's still it could like if I got. That's why I had to be so aware. Like, if I got 2 or 3 whacks like at the same time with these jellyfish, I probably would have had to stop a swim, and that was a big thing for me. It was always like we needed to be on it all the time. Every time we're in the water, sacred. We need to get to the point. And to be fair, we almost every swim bar them 2, we got to where we wanted to.
Right.
So I was always of the impression like be as aware as possible because these yolks can actually set you off your goal.
You never had any mad encounters with like, obviously like there is sharks in Ireland, not great whites, I know that, but there's different kind of sharks in Ireland. Am I right in saying that?
Do you know the one mad encounter I had? It was towards the end. I was swimming around just by the Clare coast, up around a place called Blackhead.
Right.
And I would have actually had a lot of encounters with dolphins.
Right. Dolphins are sweet though.
Dolphins are, but there's weird. There's a thing called the common dolphin and then the bottlenose dolphin.
Yeah.
And it's weird in the water. They have 2 different personalities. So the common dolphin are these like small, real playful yolks, and they start jumping over you, and you can kind of feel it in the water. They're grand. It's like a dog. That's real playful, and you'd be laughing at it or whatever. Then these bottlenose dolphins. They've just a different energy. They're kind of standoffish. They're huge, by the way.
Fungi is...
Yeah.
He's dead now. But
it's dead now. I think he was one of them, but a lot bigger. Way bigger. They could be like 5 to 6 meters long.
Right.
And way bigger. And they're a little bit more standoffish. And them. It was actually that time swimming into Achill Island. And they were following me. I'd say it was about 7 or 8 of them. And all in a big pod. And they were and some of them were nudging the back of me legs.
No way.
I could feel them touch me, and I was like to the lads on the boat, I was like, is this safe? They were like, yeah, grand. You're fine. And like, it was a flat cam day. And because they were swimming beside me, like in this unison, they were rocking the boat beside me. So I felt a bit freaky there. And then that time in Clare, I was just swimming down, and usually I never like to like look directly down because there's twofold. On a swimming kind of standpoint, you want to be your eye line wants to be kind of directly ahead. So when you in open water swimming, you kind of instead of when you're swimming in a pool, you'd lift your head to the left and lift it to the right. In open water, you lift it to the left, then up. So you come up out of the water to kind of see something. So you need to sight, say your boat.
What is that?
So you need to sight. So say if I was just swimming head down and not looking, I'd be swimming off to the right direction. So it's actually technique. It's actually completely different swimming than swimming in a pool, which a lot of people wouldn't recognise, because bringing your head up like this requires a lot of effort in your shoulders, a lot more strength to actually propel yourself, and then go back down and then go to the other side again. And that's a technique that I'm very good at. That I can pick a point, and my eyesight thankfully is great, so I was always directionally, I was flawless, spot on.
Yeah, nice.
And that's one of the massive things for open water swimming. And if anyone ever comes to me, whatever, I always teach them sighting is the most vital, integral thing, because you could be way better swimmer than me, but if you're swimming off in that direction and I'm going in a straight line and I'm taking a beautiful line, I'm going to beat you 10 times out of 10, do you know? So,
but go back to what you were saying about the dolphins. So
so the dolphins, the bottlenose were a little bit iffy that time, but I was swimming in Clare, and didn't I like that technique when you go up? I was looking down for one of the first times, and I seen this thing swimming below me, and it kind of looked like a shark.
Oh, no way.
Honestly, man, I was like, oh, fuck. And I was like, will I look down again? I said, fuck, I'll look down again. For whatever reason, the way my mind works, so I looked straight down. This thing's coming right at me.
No way.
No joke, coming right at me. And it had like the fins and everything as a shark. Now it was like a real small shark, what it looked like, and it was coming straight for me, and I was like, fuck this. So I was horizontal, so I went like vertical, and like kind of went like that with me foot, because I thought he was coming straight for me. Looked down, nothing there again, and I was like, was that just in my mind? Was I just like hallucinating? But I was 100% that was real. Now I think what it was, it could have been a dogfish or a big dogfish or something. They're kind of like the shark variant. But
did you ever get any like visions of sharks in your mind?
Got visions of whales.
Now this is a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
Sometimes like that even happens to me when I'm in the ocean, where I just visualise jaws in the water, or a part in deep blue sea where someone's just getting snapped. Do you know what I mean? Man. And I'm like, I don't even know why my brain would do that to me while I'm in the water, but sometimes it happens, and I'd be like, I need to get out of the water.
But that's it. Like, going back to, that's when your mind is at, your heart rate isn't that high, so you can still kind of think of things. And so there was a lot of times I thought, okay, a whale is under me now, because I could feel like something, and I could like, there's like a big shadow below me, and I was like, oh, there's definitely a whale here, there's something here, and you're just always on alert like that, you know. Now I'm not sure, there was whales swimming like a bit beside me, but that was pretty much the only like real kind of encounter that I had. Everything else, maybe it might have been hallucinating stuff, like, you know. But yeah.
What would you say ultra endurance athletes understand about pain that normal people don't?
They understand that the only way forward is through, really.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Pain is like that. It's a necessary thing that if you're going to do something as big as this, as hard. But what ultra endurance athletes realise, that physical pain is nothing compared to the mental. Like we were talking about, if you give up, if you throw in the towel, like that will last with you forever. Physical pain, man, I have scars under my arms of an injury that I had. I was going to get plastic surgery on it because it was got so bad, just the cuts just from the wetsuit.
Right.
And the pain of that was excruciating, but it subsides. Do you know what I mean? But
the mental
like if I gave up, like I was thinking of giving up in Dublin. I was like, right, go away to Dublin. And loads of people are saying to me, my family again, go away to Dublin. And my ma kept saying it to me, that's enough.
Yes,
like I do like 100k in a week or something. That's enough now. You give up now. And I was like, no, I'm going. But I was thinking in Dublin, I was like, right, that's enough for me.
Like, that is a nice fee.
That's a good fee. I mean? Go away to Dublin.
It could have been sweet if
it's
you
great.
That, you know?
Do you know, like I ran that, I did that, I was thinking that in my mind, right, that's great. But something in me is like, no. I have said I am going to swim around Ireland. And that's a really poignant thing. And a lot of times I'd be very hesitant to say, right, because if I put it out there, if I'm going to say it, I'm going to do it, or I'm going to try
Yeah.
within my best.
I know, but it's nearly good in
Yeah.
the sense that, like, if you say something, you
Yeah.
better do it.
You better
Like,
do it.
sometimes I'll just say something because I know it'll make me do it then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And no better place to kind of like a public platform or
Yeah.
whatever and get everybody in. And now it's like, you have to do it now.
Yeah, and people are so afraid of that. They're
Yeah.
so afraid of making themselves feel, oh, I said I was going to do this and I didn't do it. And I give you a great stuff. Like, I said I was going to swim from Dublin to Waterford back in, I think it was 2017. No, probably 2020 or 2021. And I made 10% of the way there.
Right.
I put it out everywhere and I said I'm going to swim Dublin to Dunmore East, which is town in Waterford. It's about 200k. 10% there. Now, was I embarrassed? Was I think? Yeah, 100%. I put it out there. I said I was going to do that. But if I let that define me, I wouldn't have done the swim. And because of that, then when I was doing swim era, when I was coming around that coastline, I did that section from Dublin to Dunmore East in 5 days.
Nice.
200 something K in 5 days. And I thought to myself, I was like, that's so sweet. Because I failed at that, yeah, but I didn't let it define me.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yes.
And that's been just a theme along my whole life. Even if you go back from being a young boy that got the bloody nose in the boxing club.
Yeah.
I went away, I went crying, I came back.
Yeah, you had the setbacks.
I
but you
came
always
back. I always came back. And it's never about, you know, your initial starting point or your failure. They're lessons if you implement them and if you succeed as a result of them. They're only failures if you give up and don't do anything with them.
Yeah, I agree.
If I never did anything after that swim, that would have been a
of course.
resounding failure.
Yeah.
But it's actually a lesson, a key lesson now. It was the same with that guy with the Dublin run. First time I did it, man, I think I did it in the height of winter, did it on my own. I think I had to turn back after 60, 70k.
Right.
I got the hitch of lift back. Then I was like, right, what are the learnings from this? I was like, right, I need a van with me. I need this, I need that. That summer, I need to do it in summer, not the winter. I need a solid training thing behind me. Then smashed it then, 36 hours in, and it was that sweet. Do you know? So it became a lesson, not a failure.
Brilliant.
And I love them failures.
Yeah.
That's what made me, like, you know.
What would you say you learned most about yourself when you were in the water? Because that's a long time to spend in water.
Yeah.
350 hours.
Yeah. It's a long time, and it's probably something I'm still working through because it was. I'll be honest with you.
That's crazy
it was,
amount of days. Like when you think about it, obviously 24 hours
Yeah.
a day and you've done 350.
Yeah.
That's mental.
It's mental. And I'll be honest with you, and it's almost traumatic, like, you know. So I'm still like working through it because it was such a mentally.
Well, like, do you think like you've like still a little bit of PTSD or something from
I think
it?
so, yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah.
In what way?
Just with like I was trying to stifle off. Obviously, from the jellyfish side of things, I was, you know, you're on such high alert. Then I was in massive pain in my arms, and I was trying to troubleshoot all the time. And then I was, on top of that, I was trying to sort out, you know, media and social media and logistics and getting petrol and feeding people. Like, I had to do pretty much everything on it. Now I had amazing people like the likes of Darragh Bailey and my crew and me parents and stuff that really put in a serious shift, but it was a real small team, like I said, with nothing.
But
So
barely any resources.
Yeah,
as well,
barely any resources. So that put the real pressure and strain on me, like, you know. As much mentally strong as I am, that just put it to another level. So I think I'm still working through like exactly what, but I think what I did learn about myself is how much I am, how kind of stubborn I am, I suppose, in a way, but how much I am capable of, and how much I have the ability. Like, I would always think the power of like love. Like, what do you like? I know in an endurance thing, it's a bit weird to be like the strongest emotion that came up for me was love. And it was like the love of Ireland, the love of swimming, the love of what I did. Like, what's the deepest sense of connection is love.
Yes.
And we're all looking for connection in some way. Even the loneliest and lone wolf of us, connection is everything. And at the essence of connection is love. And that's what came up for me of everything. Just the love of swimming, the love of surrounding myself with these like-minded people on this boat, like doing this adventure, and then meeting people and kind of use my body as a vehicle for adventure.
Yeah.
I was
Like you are just so happy enough to be doing what you are doing.
Yeah, I was so blessed. I was so grateful. Amidst all the real toughness and like it was mentally like so challenging for myself. Like on the off times, you know, because I loved what I was doing in the water. It was so freeing. It was amazing. Then on the off times, then it was just so tough because I lived a life of discipline and control. Whereas when I came out of the swims, I couldn't really train because if I started like doing workouts and stuff like that, you're affecting the swim.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So you're like, what do I do? And I was just twiddling my thumbs. I suppose what I really learned about myself is I probably need to learn to sit with myself a bit more and relax. And
because that was one thing for me as well that I kind of had to learn, you know, because obviously when I was paralysed from the neck down, I couldn't do anything else.
Yeah.
I literally couldn't, do you know?
Yeah.
Because I remember saying kind of, I'm convinced up until that point I never got depressed in my life because every time I felt bad, I would just go to the gym and train.
Do a workout.
So I was like kind of like switch my brain off. But at that point it was like, oh no, you have to just sit here and lie with your thoughts. And that was probably the most difficult thing I've ever had to go through in my whole life, is just lie there for that amount of time and sit with my thoughts.
And what did that do for you? Like,
it just helped me grow so much as a person. It just taught me so much about myself and patience and just you know, understanding me own brain and my own body, because like you have to lie there and just, you know, it's just your thoughts.
Yeah.
So you've just so much time to think.
Yeah.
Do you know?
And like we've been talking the whole time about the power of the mind.
Yeah.
Like how powerful no pain, no nothing can come towards that. And that's for me exactly like yourself. I had to, for probably the first time in my life, maybe for the first time for a while, I had to really just sit.
Yeah. With your thoughts.
With myself and my thoughts and do nothing else.
I know, it's so hard to explain the way. It's not really, because I think a lot of people understand it, but psychological pain is so much worse than physical pain. Physical pain, like even, you know, I've never really had that many bad injuries apart from breaking my neck, but breaking my neck, like that was nothing compared to lying there and having to go through everything emotionally.
Feel everything.
You know?
And that can have a physical manifestation in your body. Like you're psychologically, like your brain is like, I'm convinced, like even with meditation and stuff, like people were saying for some of the injuries, I used to just like meditate into them.
Yeah.
I used to feel like the power of my mind it can heal your body.
Yes.
At times as well. Like it really can. Because if you have a strong health, the last thing, my favourite book is Viktor E. Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. I'm not sure if you ever read it.
I've read that
but it's
before,
like the last thing that you can take is a man's mind. You can take everything. You can take your body. You can take everything, but you can't. Like, you know.
What's the quote from it? If you can endure, if you have
a strong enough why, you can endure any how.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
I was trying to say it and I was going to butcher and I was like, no, don't butcher.
Yeah.
But that's it. Yeah.
But that's it, and that just goes to show you the power of that. Now, to be man, I just have so much respect for yourself, because I can't only like my thing was, I was sitting on a boat, I could still kind of move it. Like I wasn't.
I understand that, but you didn't really have far to go. So you still were confined to like a small boat with your own thoughts.
Yeah.
You know, so different circumstances, but definitely.
But that's it.
And very challenging time.
And that's to get through to a lot of people. Like, you know, the mental of actually sitting with yourself. If you can, like, really sit with yourself, and that's why, you know, even swimming for that length of time, you're really within yourself for that length.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, that's like...
Because I think that's what drives a lot of people to do stuff that they know they shouldn't be doing, like drugs, like partying, like kind of like guilty pleasures, because they're not comfortable to sit with themselves, so they need distractions.
They need distractions.
That's what I think, you know.
You find that a lot. I have a lot of friends that, like, I know, they would have done that, and then they stripped all them things away, and the hardest thing is to sit with themselves without any of them numbing agents.
Yeah.
Nothing to numb your mind. You're just completely you and yourself, and I'm telling you, it's one of the hardest things you have to go through.
And that's when you find out how you really are.
That is. And that's the true test of character and everything. When you get out the other side of that, it's just like...
Yeah. Meditation, I can imagine, is good for you. I don't meditate. I need to meditate more, but...
I find it pivotal. Like, in the last 3 years, I've implemented it into my routine during that swim, and I don't think if I didn't have that, it was like mental stretching, I used to call it. Like, you know, I used to just...
Would you do it in the water?
No, I do it out of the water.
Right.
I have like this guided 15-minute meditation that I do religiously every day. I just find it's like say you have a garage or something, and there's shit everywhere, and there's, you know, and you look at it and you're just stressed even looking at it. But when you clear that out, you clean it up, there's space for other things. You can put ideas in, you can put dreams, you can put goals. If not, you're just running around, and it's just like, you know. And I would take on a lot of stuff, and I just find I make better decisions. I'm more clear. I'm just
mental clarity, like.
Yeah, I'm just that little bit calmer as a result of it, you know. But it's like, it's trying to integrate it as a habit, you know, which is...
For the average person, how would you say you get your brain to suffer on purpose?
How do I get my brain to suffer on purpose?
No, to build like kind of mental resilience. Like what's kind of things that like you've done to kind of build like little things of mental resilience?
Yeah.
You know, what do you like to do, or do you have anything like that?
No, I've lots of stuff. I've a whole toolbox of it. Look, I would always think, like, putting yourself through, like, what I do most mornings is a cold swim in the ocean. So your mind is telling you, oh, you don't want to get up, and you have to, okay, number one, you have to go through that. Then number two, a lot of the times I don't have a proper place to dry my wetsuit, so it's wet. So I have to put my wet wetsuit on. That's another thing, you know. And then so it's kind of like overcoming them small little mental battles, you know, all the time. I would think it is important. Because
it's so much more than the cold shower, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, like, it's the anticipation to go, I know I don't want to do this cold shower, but I have to do it.
I have to do it.
And then after you're out of that cold shower, you know, you're kind of like, or I done something that I really didn't want to do.
Yeah.
And that's just a little notch of resilience. That's the way I kind of chalk her up in my own mind.
I love that. It's a little notch. You're getting a notch off every day. You're getting that little... I always like, it's like the waterfall. Do you know what I mean? You do one good thing like that, and you're winning. Yes. Because you're taking over from that other side of yourself that's always looking for comfort, always looking for this. When
it's in us to say comfort, isn't it?
It's in us to search for that, but when you actually do the other thing, I personally, anyway, I can only speak for myself, but I feel a lot better. Yeah. And I took it to pretty much extremes. Like,
different level.
I'll tell you, one of the things that I used to do to build more mental resilience in myself, I said to myself, right, where's the place where you're most comfortable? In your bed, yeah? I used to sleep on the floor 3 nights a week to train myself to basically, in your most comfortable environment, to sleep on the floor. Class. And I did that 3 nights a week for about 3 years leading up for the swim. And people say, you're fucking mental. But I'm telling you, and there was another reason for it. I loved camping as well, and I used to get some of my best sleeps camping. And that was on a hard, rigid surface and all that. So it was a little bit on that. And then actually there were studies and research that came out that sleeping on your on a hard floor is actually quite good for your back and different stuff like that.
Big in Asian cultures, isn't it?
It's big in Asian cultures and stuff like that. But I did it really out of a mental
Yeah,
resilience
nice.
thing.
For I love that.
Do you know?
I love the mindset behind that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
and
'cause-
no one sees that. Like
Yeah.
we live in a world now today where people want to look good instead of being good, or
Yeah.
like look disciplined instead of being disciplined.
Yeah. Social media as well.
Instead of doing the workout, you want to, record it for a few minutes and then go off.
Yeah.
Whereas, and that's what I loved about that. That small thing is like, right, I'm going to be comfortable being uncomfortable. You know that quote?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, I was comfortable on my floor. Now it did put a strain on my relationship at the time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But now there's part of me that likes to do stuff. I really get a big joy out of doing stuff that's really uncomfortable because I know other people aren't doing them.
Yeah.
Do you know?
And that sets you apart, bro.
Yeah, like those
Yeah.
like times like where I'd literally just go out and run at 3 in the morning for no other fact that I just knew other people weren't running at 3 and 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like there was no more benefit to me running at 4 in the morning than 8 in the morning or 7 in the morning, but I just knew other people weren't out running at 4 in the morning.
And it gives you that mental edge.
Yeah.
I'm
Strange now.
I'm winning it.
Yeah, strange, but in my head I'm like, your opponent's not doing this.
Yeah.
He's not out running at 3 or 4 in the morning, you know.
Yeah.
We might, fairness to him, he might be out running at 8 or 9 in the morning, but he's not running now.
He's not running a tree.
Yeah.
And no one else is out. And you're just, I get that feeling. Now, I used to take it, even with me workouts, like I had a bit of a different kind of structure to most endurance athletes and people, but I used to want Tim Ferriss used to do this thing. I'm not sure
Love
if you
Tim
ever heard.
Ferriss.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Love him. Great.
But he used to do this thing is like uncomfortable. Train yourself to be uncomfortable. So it's like when you go to a coffee shop, ask for a free coffee.
Nice.
Do you know? So you go and can I have a free coffee? And it's almost like a social kind of.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people are afraid. It's make
Yeah.
yourself, or if you're going out on a night out or something, we're the maddest shit ever.
Yeah.
Just try it. But I took it to a level whereas when I was working out, I would have done a lot of workouts outdoors. So I would have done under a tree in a park, loads of people looking at you, like saying, "Who the fuck is this fella? Like, what's he doing?" And that would actually add another level of complexity
class,
to something that's already hard, which is working outdoors, which is, you're sinking into the ground some of the times.
Yeah.
I love being outdoors. That's why I did it. And I had a job that I was on the road a lot, so I had to do it out of necessity. But then people are looking at you and I was like, right, this is actually training my mind as well as my body. Because people are looking at me. And sometimes I'd be a bit introspective. I'd be like, Jesus, I feel a bit
little ball of
conscious
anxiety,
here.
yeah.
But I was like, fuck. And I just enjoyed it. And then that, like, all I say is nothing we ever do in life is wasted, you know?
Yeah.
And that all came back to me on the
nice.
swim, you know?
Like that. Say after finishing something like that, like what you've done, what's it like going back to normal life then? Is it very like kind of,
Tough.
do you feel empty a little bit?
Yeah. It's like I was only listening to a thing the other day. It's like a lot of, astronauts and those obviously Olympians. You're at a high echelon and everything is your North Star.
Just laser focused.
You're just laser focusing. This is your North Star. And what happens then when you, like you said, it's actually the journey a lot of the times is the most enjoyable part. Then you get to the destination, the game's over. So for me, I always had contingency plans with all my my previous expeditions because I was always working towards this. So I ran the length of Ireland, but this is a preparation for swim area. I ran across Ireland, but this is preparation. I'm sleeping in the floor, but that's a preparation for the swim.
Nice.
I'm doing this is a preparation for the swim. I'm working outdoors, this is a preparation for the swim. Then you do it. And then you're like, why am I doing all these things? Am I actually mad? Or, and then, like for me, it was probably the realization, and it's it's like, chop wood, carry water.
Yeah, it's class.
Do you know, it's a great quote, and it's like, and then it's like before enlightenment, after enlightenment. I would definitely not say I'm enlightened or anything like that after the swim, but it did realise that these are the things that give me meaning, that bring me joy, and regardless of what I'm doing, it's good to do them. Do you know? Now probably not to the level that I was doing it. I can enjoy a little bit more. I'm not as stringent with my training, and that's been actually quite enjoyable. And I actually want to like challenge myself in a way of taking time out or a week of just sitting with myself and just sit like that, like I did on the boat.
Yeah.
And really like feeling myself and working through stuff within myself. Because I think that's where the true growth and the true work is, through the mind. You know what I mean? Like we can master our bodies in a way, and you can do workouts and all that stuff, but in your mind, that's where you get the true growth. So
Yeah, I agree, yeah. Before we wrap up, one last question. Do you think suffering is necessary for greatness?
It's a great question. From my own experience, yeah, I would think it is.
Yeah.
Now it's there. Everyone has different levels of suffering. I definitely think we should definitely enjoy the journey along. I think if it's like, if your whole thing is suffering, if your whole journey you're just suffering,
Yeah.
then like that to me, I couldn't subscribe to that, and I can't say that my whole time I definitely have suffered at times in my life, but for that to be one of the main things, what was it again? It was suffering is
Is suffering necessary for greatness?
I think an element of it is, but yeah, you have to kind of enjoy the if you don't love what you do, people do say suffering is a choice, but I don't really subscribe to that either. I think suffering kind of like, it's like the peaks and the troughs. I think suffering comes in at our lowest times, and it builds us, and then we get better and better at dealing with it. We get to the top, and I think it comes again, and it comes again, and it comes again. And it's like, how do you pick yourself up, dust yourself off? Life is going to throw us. It's like these involuntary versus voluntary struggles. Do you know? I threw myself so many voluntary like struggles at myself, because I knew that swim would provide it, and also life provides it. Do you know what I mean? Without even knowing it.
Yeah.
And I was kind of equipped to then deal with
Yeah,
that
but
suffering.
I think it is, in my opinion, it's good to kind of do things that not make you suffer, but definitely make you uncomfortable, because life is naturally going to do that for you. It's inevitable. You know, the life is coming, and it's going to provide you with really hard times. And what I say to people is, it's like training to do anything, basically. I mean, you know, imagine you thinking you're just going to lift something heavy if you've never went to the gym and lifted something heavy. Life is going to throw you a lot of obstacles, and if you haven't purposely put yourself through some kind of suffering, whether that be getting in a cold shower, and it's not even about the health benefits about the cold shower or anything like that. It's purely because you don't want to do that. So you have to fight that little demon in your head to go, no, we're going to do this.
We're going to do it.
You know, and then when life does present you with this set of problems, you're like, it's not my first time at the rodeo. It's shit what's happening, but it's not my first time here. Being uncomfortable and suffering.
Yeah.
You know?
And you find that when you start off your day with doing that, you know, look, where you're more proactive, less reactive. I find when I wake up then, and just life will always, and your day will always throw stuff at you, you're just reacting to stuff. Whereas if I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, I go for a swim, like I'm freezing, I come out, and I'm ready to deal with a lot of the day's problems a lot better than if I woke up, I was looking at my phone, just so many stuff are coming in. Then I'm just less equipped, you know. And that's what you could call it suffering, call it discipline, call it whatever. I think that's what it is. Like, and yourself, like, what would you say to that question?
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely going back to what I was saying earlier on about life is going to present you with some problems, and if you haven't suffered, you know, voluntarily, you know, if you haven't, not even suffering might be the wrong word, like, you know, if you haven't put yourself through uncomfortable time, which I suppose in turn is suffering, but if you haven't done that voluntarily, you know, because, like, I believe if you do want to be great and you want to do what other people aren't doing, you have to do what, you know, you have to put yourself through things that other people aren't willing to go through.
100%.
That's what I believe, you know.
You see all the traffic going down the same set,
Yeah.
and you're going the opposite way.
I'm like, no, that's not, I'm not going this way, I'm going this way.
I'm going this way, you know.
Because again, like, you know, I just want a different life than everybody else. Going back to what you said there earlier on, we only get one life and it's a short life. And it could be out, you know, you don't know when the day is that you're going to step off the wheel. You know, and that's the reality of it.
It's amazing, short, beautiful life. And I think you only realise that probably through the suffering part.
Absolutely.
When you do suffer, when you see
good times wouldn't be so good if bad times weren't so bad. And that's the reality. Exactly. You know, imagine living your life and everything was just flatline.
Yeah.
There was no...
there's no peaks and troughs.
No, just, jeez, what a miserable life.
Yeah.
Do you know? Yeah. What's next for you?
I'm actually at the moment I'm writing a book on the swim, which
Brilliant.
which has been actually very challenging for myself because I'm not. Look, that's not my strong point, but I'm actually enjoying it. Have done the first draft, so I want to do a bit more. It's really all around mythology of Ireland, you know, and then the bow,
mythology.
and then the bow, the Galway hooker. I want to bring in that, my boat captain Darragh Bailey, his story, how he got into it. So really, like at the moment, I've just wrote like a big journal of the whole thing. It's very descriptive. Now I want to go into kind of more detail and kind of themes and things like that. And then in the future, you know, there's two other projects that kind of stem off Swim Era, which is to cycle around Ireland and to run around Ireland. So to do a triathlon then, full triathlon around Ireland, that is potentially something.
It's probably hard to top what you've already done, isn't it?
It is. See, two of them don't even top it. Do you know what I mean?
In fairness.
They don't.
You know?
So, like, look, it's... And I don't want... I always said to myself, and this is kind of I love doing that stuff, and the cycle actually would be great for me because I could just enjoy it.
Yeah.
And adventure. It wouldn't be for this, like, mad...
Yeah.
You know, athletic achievement. It would be just to enjoy Ireland. But I said to myself, I never want to be on this loop of, like you're saying,
so you're just talking about earlier on.
Do you know what I mean? Outdoing yourself all the time. Yeah. So I need to really just take stock of everything I've done and really enjoy it and be grateful for it. Because I think if I don't do that, it's kind of a slap in the face to... not myself, but the higher power that I put so much trust in that allowed me to swim around the country. Yeah. Do you know, if I say to myself, if I keep saying I'm going to like do the next thing and do it bigger and do it bigger, like that's the human nature. Like you always want to go bigger and harder and that, but a lot of the times like the discipline and the actual true happiness comes from within, you know.
Yeah, 100%. So it's like getting a house, you want a bigger house, you got a car, you want a nicer car. Yeah. Just going back to what I said earlier on, enough.
Yeah.
No.
What we
have
is
pleasure,
enough.
Bro.
Man,
thanks
likewise.
So much for
it was a great chat.
It was a great chat.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Legend.
Thanks so much everybody for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Thank you.